What is up, YouTube? This is Nightmare, and today I'm going to be going over a Widowmaker guide on aiming. So, throughout this video, I'm going to be playing the clips from my montage and some other clips that I have. It's pretty much just going to go over 4 types of aiming that I go by. So, the first one is going to be tracking your target. Leading your target is the second one. Third is going to be flick shotting, and fourth is one that I like to do is called zone shotting, which is going to pretty much include all 3 of these types of shooting, but in a more specific way with looking down sniper lanes or looking at a specific area and letting people walk into your reticles. So with that, let's get right into the first aiming type. Alright, so for our first aiming type is going to be tracking. So all the clips that are going to be playing for this section are going to be showing off the tracking sniping style. So what this style of sniping is usually used for is with stationary targets, targets that are unaware of your presence, or targets that are strafing in a very predictable way. So following your target is going to be, or tracking your target is going to be one of the easiest ways, and probably one of the first ways you'll start to learn how to play Widowmaker is just by tracking your target, putting your reticle over your target and following them around. So as you can see in these clips, like in this one, I'm just moving my dot over the target, taking the shot, and then this May, I'm just following her as she runs off, and then I hit the shot every time my dot hits the target. So another good thing that the tracking, or the this type of sniping style is good for, is also going to be able to take out certain ultimates. So as you can see in the clips, I'm able to take out a McCree, I believe it's in this clip, but also Pharahs. Pharahs that are ulting are very easy to take out with the tracking sniping style. So as you get further on into higher elos, or just playing against harder enemies, you're going to realize that this sniping style is going to become less reliable, and you will have to pick up on the other 2 types that are a little bit easier to do in some situations depending on the targets you're taking shots at, which I will explain later. But pretty much when you play Widowmaker, you want to use all 3 types, all of these 3 types of sniping styles together. And you'll become a much better Widowmaker player when you're able to go and switch off between these 3 styles back to back to back. So being able to track your target into flicking, into leading, into flicking, etc. And then being able to incorporate them all together in specific ways. So when I track my targets, I usually tend to flick just a little bit, but tracking is still good in most situations, as you can see in these clips. So with that, I'm going to get into the second sniping style, which is going to be leading the target. Alright, so to start off the second set of videos, I got that pick off on the McCree, so this is going to be the leading. As you can see in the video, I led my shot into the area that I predicted the McCree would walk into during his high noon. This just makes it easier. Him walking into my reticule, my dot, makes it less difficult for me to land my shots. The less movement I have to make, the easier it is. I'm just simply letting my targets walk into my crosshairs. Now you can do this in multiple ways. You can put it around corners like this on that Junkrat, putting right on the edge of the corner and letting him walk around the corner into the dot, and then I pull the pull the trigger and take the shot. And you can also do this in ways that if you know that the enemy is going to be walking in a specific direction and they're not going to strafe or try to dodge your shots and just keep walking in that same direction, you can put your crosshair in front of them, take the shot, and then quickly move your crosshair back in front of them and then let them walk into it again. So leading your shots is probably one of the easiest and best ways to snipe. As you will learn, it's going to be a little bit easier than tracking, because tracking, you have the chance of missing a lot of shots when you're tracking your targets. They're going to try to strafe or dodge your shots, and being able to lead and predict their movements is going to help you land more shots on your targets. So when I first started playing Widow, I didn't really lead targets too often. I was really just tracking, but once I tried practicing it more, like purposely trying to lead my targets, I found that I was hitting a lot more shots even with tracking. So leading is also going to help. Leading your targets is going to help increase your shot accuracy with the other types of sniping. So that is going to be leading your targets. Now, the third option, or the third technique, is going to be flicking. So I'm going to go over that style next.
I'm about to use it, get ready.
So for the third sniping style, this is going to be the most difficult of the four. This is going to be flicking. So flick shotting is something that just comes over time with just being familiar with playing Widowmaker. It comes with experience and muscle memory. So pretty much what flick shotting is and how you want to use it. It's definitely a lot more complicated, but it's going to be the most reliable once you become better. This is going to rely more on muscle memory and just letting your hands and your controller take care of the shots for you, instead of you putting too much effort and thinking too hard of your shots. When you think too much is when you're going to start missing most of your shots, and what flicking allows you to do is just let your muscle memory take over and land the shots for you. So as you become better, of course, you'll start flicking more. The more you start flicking, the more shots you will land. Flicking can be used in combination with leading and tracking. You don't just want to flick your crosshair across the map to hit your shots. You want to either lead, or you want to track your target and then flick into them once you get close enough. So flicking is going to be best for making very small changes in where your crosshair is. Now, in some occasions, like this film right here, you're able to completely drag your crosshair a very long distance and still hit the shot. And pretty much how you want to do this is, as you're dragging your crosshair across the target, you're going to want to keep pulling across their head or across their body, like you're going to pass over them, but pull the trigger as soon as your crosshair is over them, if that makes sense. Now flicking is also going to be the #1 choice of shooting when trying to take out Genjis that are jumping around, or Pharahs that are flying through the air. There's so much movement in vertical space as Pharahs and Genjis are moving around like that. It's going to be a lot harder to predict where they're moving with leading, and it's definitely going to be almost impossible to track their location and take the shot that way. Flicking is just going to be able to allow you to, as seen here, the Pharah being shot out of the sky, you're going to just be able to predict the kind of the area where they're going in, and then from where you're currently at, you can flick into the direction where they're at and take the shot. So this clip, this play of the game, that first fire shot was a tracking. As they're sitting still ulting, I'm able to track and just line up easily and hit the trigger. And then for like the Junkrat ults that's moving fast, I would have flicked into that and hit it. And like I said, flicking is gonna just come with practice. It's all in muscle memory. Also, flick shotting is gonna be good for, as seen in that McCree clip, if you're scoped in and someone comes into your view very quickly, they're very close to you, you can flick at, also like the tracer, you can flick into the direction they're moving or make the change that you need to land that shot. So that's pretty much it for the third type of shooting, which was flicking. Now the fourth type is zone shooting. So I'm gonna let the flick flick shot clips run on in the background while I talk about zone shooting, because zone shooting is something I feel like it's not really a real type, as it uses the three types said before: flicking, tracking, and leading. But zone shooting is going to make these three types easier to pull off. So the best way I can describe zone shooting is looking at a choke point or a sniper lane, keeping your crosshairs down this area, as seen in this clip. You can see the payload right in front of me, and I'm just able to let people come into my crosshairs and pick them off. This is gonna just allow you to not have to move your crosshairs as much, as most of the foot traffic of enemy players is gonna be moving through this sniper lane, or this road, or whatever you want to call it. So that's the first example of what zone sniping is. Also here, there's another choke point. I'm just able to take shots into that general direction, and there's 3 targets that I have a chance to hit. Also, zone shotting can be shooting into shields, so like Orisa shields, Reinhardt shields, or seen here, that's another zone shot. Everyone's just grouped up. My odds are very high to hit at least one of those targets. But anyways, so shooting into Reinhardt shields or Orisa shields, if anybody is to poke their head out from that shield, you're already scoped in for that area, and it's going to be very easy for your shots to connect, if that makes sense also. Also, if you're shooting, if you don't have any other targets and you're just shooting at a Reinhardt shield or whatever, as soon as he puts his head down or his shield down, you're gonna get a nice headshot. I believe I went over that flicking was also good for Pharahs. So continuing with zone shooting, here's another example of zone shooting. I get behind the enemy on the flank, and I'm able to just look down, and I'm moving around a little bit, but it's not as much since most of my targets are in this general area. So that pretty much covers up the 4 different styles of shooting that I use, and this is going to be good for both console and PC players. So I wanted to make a video on how to hookshot, but I felt like I needed to explain different shooting styles before I get into more complicated mechanics such as hookshotting. So I hope this video helped you guys out some. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section below, and I would be happy to make another video on this. If I need to go into more detail, or things were unclear, I can get into more detail with that if I know what I'm doing wrong, if you guys let me know. Also, the the hookshotting video will be coming out soon, probably tomorrow or within the week, so look for that. And if you liked the content, please like the video and subscribe, because I am playing a lot more Overwatch, like I said, and Widowmaker is going to be my main for now, so you expect to see a lot of Widowmaker guides, Widowmaker gameplay and montages, but I also plan on making some other hero montages and guides similar to this one. I just feel like I can get into a lot of detail with Widow because she is such a complicated character and a very off meta character also. But she is a lot of fun, and if you learn to master her, you can be very successful in ranked and in normal games. And the challenge is just very exciting when you're able to hit awesome shots. It just makes you feel really good. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.
We can say that again.
There should be like a solo queue.
Pharah's on the point. She might ult.
Come on, Reinhardt, charge. I want to boop you. Oh, hello, Mercy.
Okay, you good. You're alive. What the hell? Whoa, 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 I had a quad.
Seriously.
Alright.
A double. With the headshot. Okay, another.